Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, commissioners and staff, and welcome to the City of Paterson Planning Board. Today's meeting is Wednesday, May 5th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. via webinar session. My name is Margarita Vega, your secretary this evening. Chairwoman Northrop, please proceed. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to ask everyone to please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States
of America,
and to the republic
for which it
stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for
all.
Amen.
Thank you. I'm just going to say, I know sometimes we have technical difficulties, but in the future we've got to do a better job of trying to start these meetings on time. I don't know, tonight it seemed like it was the technical staff, whatever it is, everybody knows the time this meeting starts, we need to get it started because we've got too many people waiting and everybody's time is valuable. So, this evening, commissioners, planning board staff, ladies and gentlemen, as chairwoman of the City of Paterson's Planning Board, I call this meeting of 5/5/21 to order. I hereby state that all the provisions of the State of New Jersey Public Meeting Law have been fully and completely met, that the notice of provisions required have been properly posted in the Planning Board office and with the City of Paterson clerk, that the public notice and advertisements have been published in the Herald News on April 24th, 21 in accordance with the law, and that the copies of such notice and public advertisements are on file in the Planning Board office, as is the agenda listing the applications to be taken up by the Planning Board at this meeting. The procedures tonight will be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and bylaws as heretofore determined by the Planning Board at its office in the municipal complex in the City of Paterson. Roll call, please.
Good evening, commissioners and staff. Commissioners, Commissioner Fisher? Thank you. Commissioner Ahmed is absent. Commissioner Brooks?
Here.
Commissioner Savalos is absent. Commissioner Cleaves is absent. Commissioner Santana?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Issa is absent. Commissioner Eugene?
Yes, Madam Secretary, I'm here.
Thank you. Commissioner Figueroa?
Present.
Thank you. Councilman Kalik?
Present.
Thank you. And Chairwoman Northrop?
Here.
You have 7 commissioners in attendance this evening. You may proceed.
Thank you. Thank you. Consistent with the coronavirus-related restrictions of Executive Order Number 107, given on Saturday, March 21st, 2020, by Governor Philip D. Murphy, the Planning Board of the City of Paterson will not conduct in-person participation of the public at all future meetings until further notice. However, public participation will be available by means of communication equipment pursuant to NJSA 10:4-8 commencing on April 15, 2020. Though there may potentially be a practical need for a limited number of administrative, technical, or other city personnel to be present in or near the council chambers, 3rd floor, City Hall, 155 Market Street, Paterson, New Jersey, in-person participation of the public is prohibited. Nevertheless, for reasons of compliance with the said Executive Order Number 107, public participation will be available by calling 973-321-1579, and the meeting ID number is 711-680-001. I'll repeat that later on this evening anyway, so again, I'll repeat those numbers on the date and time that the meeting is scheduled to commence. The public may also participate in the meeting by accessing the website of the City of Paterson, www.patersonnj.gov, and following the email link for the meeting, www.patersonnj.gov/planning board. Okay, so we have two applications this evening. I believe we're going to start with Paterson Qualified Opportunity Zone LLC. Is that correct, Mr. Deutsch?
That is correct, Madam Chairwoman.
Okay, Mr. Maricondo, are you representing the applicant?
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Al Maricondo on behalf of the applicant.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Paterson Qualified Opportunity Zone LLC, 158-160 Hamilton Avenue, Block 3612, Lot 5. At the March 8th, 2021 Planning Board meeting, the applicant proposed to remove the existing two-unit structure and proposed to construct a new 5-story residential building with a total of 20 units. The basement proposed a sprinkler, utility room, a refuge recycling room, a bike storage area, a half bathroom, a gym community area, an elevator, and a staircase. The first floor proposed a lobby with an elevator, a mail and package room, and a stairwell. 8 off-street parking spaces were also proposed in addition to a secondary stairwell. The second through fifth floors each proposed 1 studio unit and 4 one-bedroom units on each floor. The parcel has area of 5,000 square feet. This proposal is within the RA-2 zone of the 4th Ward redevelopment plan. Variances are requested for the following. Front yard setback is a minimum of 3 feet was required and 0 feet was proposed. One side yard setback is a minimum of 5 feet was required and 0 feet was proposed. Rear yard setback is a minimum of 20 feet was required and 8 feet was proposed. Number of building stories as 3.5 story and as a 3.5-story building was permitted and a 5-story building was proposed. A maximum building height of 45 feet was permitted and a building height of 47 feet and 2 inches was proposed. Maximum building coverage as 60% building coverage is permitted and 83% building coverage was proposed. Maximum lot impervious coverage is 80% impervious coverage was permitted and 82% impervious coverage was proposed. Open space amenity area as 3,000 square feet was required and 1,925 square feet was proposed. And parking as 20 off-street parking spaces were required and 8 off-street parking spaces were proposed. Prior to the completion of testimony, the applicant requested that the matter be carried to the meeting of April 7th, 2021 in order to prepare plan revisions. At the April 7th, 2021 meeting, the applicant requested the matter be carried to the May 5th, 2021 meeting in order to finalize the plan revisions. Plans with a revision date of March 9th, 2021 have been submitted that indicates an 11-unit residential building with no basement. The first proposes a lobby with stairs, a package area, sprinkler, and refuge room, a bike storage area, a secondary stairwell, 6 parking spaces, and a studio apartment. The second and third floors each propose 5 one-bedroom units, 1 each floor. Variances are now requested for the following. Front yard setback is a minimum of 3 feet is required and 0 feet is proposed. One side yard setback is a minimum of 5 feet is required and 3 feet is proposed. A rear yard setback is a minimum of 20 feet is required and 8 feet is proposed. Maximum building coverage at 60% building coverage is permitted and 76% building coverage is proposed. Open space amenity area as 1,650 square feet is required and 500 square feet is proposed. And parking as 11 off-street parking spaces are required and 6 off-street parking spaces are proposed. It requires a site plan approval on both variances. Mr. Deutsch, would you like to give us your review?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Property taxes and sewer charges are current. Persons having a 10% or greater ownership interest in Paterson Qualified Opportunity Zone is Matthew Florio, providing an address of 449 East 18th Street, Paterson, New Jersey. As indicated in the property survey prepared by David von Steenberg, the lot has frontage of 50 feet on Hamilton Avenue, a rear lot line that also measures 50 feet in width, and eastern and western side lot lines that measure 100 feet in length. The lot is occupied by a 2-story, 2-unit residential structure of about 25 years in age. The parcel is relatively flat in elevation. Parcel's area of 5,000 square feet or 0.12 acres. Hamilton Avenue is a one-way street in an easterly direction. This proposal is located on the southern side of Hamilton Street, approximately 194 feet easterly of the intersection of Hamilton Avenue and Straight Street. Evans Architect has prepared a 4-page architectural submittal revised to March 9th, 2021. Drawing S1 is the site plan. Details are shown for the sanitary sewer connection, water connection, seepage pit section, concrete vertical curb, and roadway pavement widening. concrete sidewalk detail, the zoning ordinance data, the tax map, and the barrier-free parking detail. The proposed site plan indicates that the new building is proposed to cover 80% of the lot and has an approximate dimension of 92 feet in length and 42 feet in width. The building is proposed to be on the front property line, 8 feet from the rear property line, 3 feet from the western side property line, and 5 feet from the eastern side property line. To the east, a newer 3-story, 2-unit residential dwelling exists, and to the west, a 4-story residential building with parking on the ground level is proposed. A 12-foot curb cut is proposed on Hamilton Avenue to provide vehicular access into the garage. 2 street trees are also proposed to be placed in front of the building. A note on the plan indicates that the entire site and site perimeter is to be equipped with video security throughout public areas and site lighting along the traveled public way and parking area. Surveillance cameras are to connect to the City of Paterson Police Department system. Drawing S2 is the site plan with soil erosion details and notes. A permit is required from the Hudson Essex Passaic Soil Conservation Service prior to final approval. Drawing SK1 indicates the first floor plan and the second and third floor plans. The first floor indicates interior parking for 6 vehicles, including 1 handicap parking spot. There's a doorway access point into the building through recessed access doors located on Hamilton Avenue. The recessed doors lead to a vestibule area, which provides access to a lounge area, a package pickup area, and stairwell number 1. There's also an interior door that leads to the parking garage, which contains a bike storage rack and the second stairwell access. There is 1 exterior access point located at the rear of the building. An enclosed sprinkler room has access from the garage. An enclosed refuse room has access from an exterior door located on the western side of the building. A 500 square foot studio unit is located on the first floor, accessible through the building lobby. Floor plans for the second and third floor plans are identical in layout. Each floor proposes 5 one-bedroom units. All units include a full bathroom, a kitchen, and a living room and/or dining area, a laundry unit, and a mechanical room. The one-bedroom units contain 604, 616, 624, 630, and 660 square feet. The building proposes a total of 11 units, 1 studio unit, and 10 one-bedroom units. Drawing SK2 are the building elevations. The front elevation view from Hamilton Avenue indicates a garage entry door and the pedestrian access door into the vestibule area. The building indicates a brick veneer facade, picture windows on the upper floors with an additional single window, a smaller window in the building stairwell, and a rooftop molding. The rear elevation view of the building indicates a masonry finish. The rear door is indicated as well with 1 set of double-hung windows on the upper floors. The west side elevation indicates the refuse room door and 1 set of windows on the first floor and 7 sets of windows on the upper floors. The right side elevation indicates no windows on the first floor, a masonry finish, and windows on the upper floors. This is a flat roof building. The building indicates a top height of 33 feet. The intent of the RA-2 residential district of the 4th Ward redevelopment plan is to permit a more intensive residential use of land with various types of dwellings. Within the RA-2 district of the 4th Ward redevelopment plan, there are other examples of both new and recently approved multiple unit residential buildings that have replaced older structures that have either been vacant and abandoned or on long vacant lots. The applicant requests variances for the following conditions for this proposed 11-unit structure. Front yard setback as a minimum of 3 feet is required and 0 feet is proposed. 1 side yard setback as a minimum of 5 feet is required and 3 feet is provided. Rear yard setback as a minimum of 20 feet is required and 8 feet is proposed. Maximum building coverage at 60% building coverage is permitted and 76% building coverage is proposed. Open space And the amenity areas of 1,650 square feet is required and 500 square feet is proposed, and parking as 11 off-street parking spaces are required and 6 off-street parking spaces are proposed. The open space amenity areas include a bike storage area of 100 square feet and a rear yard of 400 square feet. One parking space for the student unit in each of the 10 one-bedroom dwelling units is required for a total of 11 off-street parking spaces. As 6 off-street parking spaces are proposed, a variance for 5 off-street parking spaces is requested. Residential apartment construction is permitted within the redevelopment area. A mixture of different types of residential units is encouraged. The planning board should determine whether the land area of this parcel is suitable for the number and type of apartment units proposed. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant and/or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating the plans have been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official. Surrounding land use. This proposal is in Wrigley Park section of the city within the 4th Ward redevelopment plan. To the west of this proposal, a 4-story residential building with parking on the ground floor has been completed. On the southeast corner of Straight Street and Hamilton Avenue, a one-family dwelling.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, I don't mean to stop you there, but I'm hearing all kinds of background noise, so anyone who is not speaking right now, everyone, please turn your mics off. It's very distracting, and I know Aunt Melinda must be having a problem catching every word here. All right, I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead, continue, please.
Okay, on the northeast corner of Straight Street and Hamilton Avenue, 3 two-family dwellings that were the subject of a previous planning board application have been constructed. On the north side of Hamilton Avenue, at 153 Hamilton Avenue, opposite this proposal is the Solomon Temple. At a planning board meeting held on November 16, 2020, a proposal to construct a new 4-story residential building with a total of 15 units and 8 parking spaces at 154-156 Hamilton Avenue, block 3612, blocks 4.01 and 4.02 were approved. This proposal is directly west of this proposal. The applicant shall indicate the location of the proposed driveway for 154-156 Hamilton Avenue on revised plans for the subject of this current application. In conclusion, the applicant should incorporate the design elements contained within the 4th Ward redevelopment plan on the site and within the building. That is your staff review for this proposal, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Mr. Deutsch. Mr. Maricondo?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening again, Commissioners. Wanted to open by indicating that the applicant has had a continuing dialogue with the neighboring residents in this area since this application was first submitted. And there's obviously, we can see there is substantial reduction already in what is before you. What Mr. Evans will now be proposing is an additional amendment whereby we're reducing this project by 2 more units, leaving us with 8 one-bedroom and 1 studio unit. So we have also a continuing decrease in the variances that we're seeking. We want to work with the neighborhood in this area. We think this is a very viable project. It's a continuation, as Mr. Evans indicated, of the prior approvals in this area. So at this point, I'd like to call Mr. Evans to explain the site plan amendment too.
Yes, that's fine, except one other thing. What does that do to the amount of parking spaces, or will Mr. Evans go over that?
All right, Mr. Evans will explain that the parking variance will be reduced.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Continue, please. I think your mic is off, Melinda. Thank you.
Do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Matthew Evans,
Okay.
architect
Please state your full
planner.
name for the record.
Matthew Evans, architect, 470 Chamberlain Ave, Paterson, New Jersey.
And we accept him as an expert witness. Mr. Evans, would you please, I know that you're further away from that mic. You gotta lean in and speak up so that we can all hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
All right, okay, so what I'm gonna do is post, the revised plan that we did This is the data today, showing sheet S1. I'll go to zoom in on, there's a lot of details on here. So basically what we have, we still have a 3-story building. It's a 9-unit building now. We cut off the back, so we have more green open space. We have 700 square feet of open space. Then there's the remainder of that would be the parking area and bicycle parking. And then the building has been reduced. So as you can see, we'll zoom in a little bit more. We have 29 feet from the back of the building, where 8 feet was the previous setback. So also what we've done is we've reduced, we pushed the building back 3 feet. So you can see we now require a 3-foot front setback variance on that. We've added some landscaping to the front of the building, along the drive and the pedestrian access. And then we've added additional green along the side property lines of the perimeter of the parking and the green open space in the back. Let me go to the floor plans. So looking at the first floor plan, basically the front of the building remains. We have the building ending after the handicap spot, and then these 2 parking spaces in the rear would remain, but they'd be outside. As I mentioned, the bike storage is in the backyard. The parking would remain. There's 6 parking spaces. The handicap unit that we proposed would remain. We have our refuse sprinkler package area and the apartment lobby vestibule. That was all part of the original submission. Looking at the second floor, now we have 4 one-bedroom units. So coming up the stairs, we have unit 201, and that would also be 301. We have 616 square feet. That's 1 apartment in the front. Then unit 202 is 660 square feet. That's pretty much in keeping with what was there before. And also we have the 1-bedroom unit 203 and 303. That's 623 square feet. And then we trimmed off the back. We have 1 single bedroom unit in the back, which has 642 square feet. It's a little larger. Open living and dining and kitchen, a large bedroom. And we have mechanicals. All the units have their own washer dryer, and that would be the extent of the floor plan revision. So we reduced the building in the back, and we pushed it back, as I mentioned. Looking at the front elevation would remain the same. We have the left side elevation, which is is shortened with the parking area in the rear. And then the rear elevation is essentially the same, but there would be parking underneath the building. That'll be open. And then we have as was before, the mechanical units would be screened by a parapet. And then we have the side elevations with masonry and stucco finish. Around there we have brick, decorative brick on the front, a little bit more aesthetically appealing. In the front of the building. So that would be the extent of the changes to what we previously proposed, which was reducing it, then reduced to 11, which was the latest submission. Now we're down to 9 units. They're all single bedrooms with the exception of 1 studio apartment. So it's very low intensity as far as occupancy on this site.
And we also alluded to the fact that there are other developments, very similar lot sizes, but with more units in fact already approved here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that would be the extent of your testimony, architectural and design. Madam Chair, Mr. Evans will be available for any questions at this time. I'll then be calling Mr. Reed before we call our planner, who will be Mr. Chuck Olivo.
Let me just ask you something. So what did that do to the parking?
It will reduce the parking variance, which Mr. Olivo will talk about, but Matt, you can highlight it too.
Yeah, so basically we meet about 56% of the parking requirement.
What are the numbers though?
We have 6 parking spaces and we have 9 apartments.
9 required. Not,
9 apartments is 9 spaces and 9 required.
So you only need the variance for 3.
Right, each time we've made this amendment, we've reduced the parking variance
Okay.
substantially, now we're down to 3.
Okay. And the community room is now, what did you say, 700 square feet?
Yeah, well, it's the rear, the grass area in the back, landscaped area,
Okay,
the open space.
all right, and, Mr. Marconi, so you're calling, Mr. Reed, and you have one other person you're calling?
Yes, one other planner, Mr. Olivo.
Okay, so you wanna call Mr. Reed first?
Sure.
You swear upon the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Say your full name for the record.
Anderson Reed, REID, Director of Development, JCM Investors, and Paterson Qualified Fund.
Thank you, Mr. Reed, you heard Mr. Evans' testimony on the proposed amendments, is that correct?
Yes.
And you're in full agreement with that continued reduction to where we're at 9 units now, is that right?
Yes, and quite frankly, on several of these lots of the size here, we have gotten approved for 20 units on the same size lot here.
Right.
And in consultation with some of the residents in the area, I made it my business to go out there and visit some of them. And they asked me, they would feel more comfortable if it was reduced some. We reduced it originally, when we had those Germans down to 11 units. Then I further talked to a couple more of the neighbors in the area and reduced it down to even 2 more units to make it, went from originally 20 to down to 9.
Okay, and then, based upon, experience of this developer in the past, there'll be the standard security and lighting and all the other, standard practices that this developer has, presented in the past?
Definitely.
Okay, and, you're satisfied that these units, the demographics that it will meet is a particular need in this area?
Yes.
That's all I have, Madam Chair, at this time, Mr. Reed.
Okay, I'm gonna open it up to the public, for questions of Mr. Reed and Mr. Evans. Okay, if anyone from the public, would like to call in with their questions, they may call in at 973-321-1579, and the meeting ID is 711-680-001. I will allow 2 minutes for call-ins, and I'll allow 3 minutes to make your point. This is not to make comments at this time, this is to ask your questions only. Ask your questions only, I'll allow 3 minutes, thank you.
Do you want me to begin, Madam Chairperson?
Excuse me. Chairwoman and Commissioners, we do have 2 objectors at the time. We're trying to connect them. Once they're connected, I will put them on.
Yes, who just asked if they could speak?
This is Reverend Algira.
Okay, well, just hold on 1 minute until, Madam Secretary is ready to put you on, please.
Thank you. One moment.
Okay.
Reverend John Algira, you may speak, sir.
Yes, Mr. Evans, first of all, Mr. Evans and Mr. Reed, thank you for the adjustments to this building. It's much better than the last one. But Mr. Evans, on the parking, the 6 spaces were unclear to me. Are there, and 3 of the spaces on the left there, how will those people get out of the building? Will they have to back out?
Well, the people, it was the same parking pattern or traffic pattern as was previously submission. We didn't change any, we didn't revise it, but there's, I can post up the so go to.
Okay, somebody's got their mics on, and Mr. Evans, you have to speak up, and somebody else, I hear echoing, so who's ever got their mics on, please turn them off. Yes,
Madam Chair, I need to interrupt a second. This
Yes.
individual did not place his name on the record, nor was he sworn, nor did he place his address on the record. Can we do that, please?
yes. Melinda?
I usually don't swear them in when they're asking questions.
No, we're not swearing them in. I need their name and their address for the record.
Are you ready for me to give that?
Yes, please.
Reverend John Algira, 409 East 25th Street, Paterson, New Jersey.
Okay. All right, please continue.
So my question, Mr. Evans, is where are the 6 spots, and how will these cars get back out onto Hamilton Ave? They'll have to back out?
No, they don't back out. We have overhead doors. You can see on the you can see the entry. You have 3 parking spaces adjacent to the drive aisle, and then we have the handicap space. We have another two regular parking spaces behind that. Now, where the third space ends here, you have 24 feet to back out from these parking spaces. You also have that 24 feet to turn around and then come out forward from the drive aisle. So there's, that would be in keeping with the engineering requirements of the City of Paterson.
But how is it 24 feet if there are 6 cars parked there?
There's 3 cars adjacent to the drive aisle, and then there's 90 degrees to that. There's a handicap spot, and then there's 2 regular spots. So they back out, and then they go forward outside the building.
Okay, it looked challenging to me in the other building, and it looks challenging in this building. But thank you. That's my only question right now.
Okay, thank you. All right. Madam Secretary, do we have any other callers?
Mr. Bartlow Carter, are you there, sir?
Yes.
Madam Chair,
Yes, excuse me, one moment.
I apologize. Could we just have a 2-minute break so I could just take care of one matter? I'm sorry. 2 minutes.
We'll take 2-minute break, and then we're gonna bring the other caller on. Thank you.
Hold on, Mr. Carter, thank you.
He's gonna have.
I need someone who has their mic on to mute it,
Yes.
please.
Yes, I was just about to say that because I can hear echoing. Thank.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair, I apologize. Unfortunately, I'm juggling another matter and we haven't resolved it.
It's okay. All right, let's just move on. Okay, Mr. Carter, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Okay. Bartow Carter. I reside at 162 Hamilton Avenue, Paterson, New Jersey.
All right, thank you.
And Mr. Bartlow, Mr. Carter, do you have your TV on?
Yes, I do.
Can you shut it off, because I can't hear you?
Okay, how about now?
That's what was the interruption. Thank you, you may proceed.
Okay, all right, thank you. Please, you have 3 minutes to ask your questions. Is your question from Mr. Evans or from Mr. Reed?
For Mr. Reed.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes. Mr. Reed, in terms of knocking down the building next door to me, which just, the variances still would encroach, like, right up against my fence line and right against this area. Has it been considered that they could just have a 2-family home, which is still only 25 years old,
and or possibility of having a park area for the children of those buildings, because in the summertime, they actually sit on my steps and they have nowhere to go. So maybe that be a consideration for the utilization of that structure and land if they're going to just knock it down to put another building, which will be the third building. And the parking situation here is really tough. And I've seen cars actually towed. It took them 3 weeks before they could get started on the program because they had to keep towing the other tenants. And that's a fact. So how will we address that?
Okay, I hear what you're saying. Unfortunately, this site here will not be proposed for that use there. But I will propose, speaking with the St. Paul's Church. I mean, obviously you know that area well as and they have a big lot area, big grass area there. And I would like to bring your attention, maybe they will utilize some of it for a small playground area for the kids, which is a few feet away from your property as well as this property here, maybe about 150 feet at most. So they have a large area there. So I will speak to them and see if they propose even letting us maybe put like a little playground area for the kids on their site for use.
Okay. And as far as the tenancies that are already in the other buildings, when they get out of their car, they throw their garbage in the street and then they head into the house. It's really a nuisance.
I really wish if you could record any plate or type of vehicle of someone doing that, and we would get extra attention, as well as I would look into our camera system and have our security look and see who is doing stuff like that, and we will bring to your attention. And if that type of behavior persists, we will file court actions to have them removed for violating terms of their lease, because part of the lease they got to dispose of garbage and debris in the appropriate manner.
Okay, and this is just for the zoning board. My wife and I purchased our home in 2000.
We're not the zoning, excuse me, we're not the zoning board, we're the planning board.
Planning board, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Just to give you some insight, my wife and I were first to purchase our homes in 2007 with the vision of homes being built in this area and now turning to housing. And we've been here since 2007. We were the first house in the area developed on that other redevelopment plan. So now we're being hit with another one, and I'm really at a loss.
All right, but that's not our responsibility here, so you'd have to speak to somebody else about that. Is Mr. Mariconda there? Can he be, or Mr. Aquaviva, who can he speak to? Because apparently, we did not write that plan.
The redevelopment plan is ultimately approved by the city council, so he can take up any objection at this point, although it's rather late, because the redevelopment plan was adopted years ago. But he certainly can bring those issues up before the city council meeting.
Right.
Okay. It was my understanding that they're only supposed to develop up to four family units, and now we're talking apartment buildings.
Actually, that is not the case, sir.
No.
And again, the chairwoman is correct that all of these issues that you're raising, they may very well be legitimate, but they're not to be dealt with at this board. This redevelopment plan was approved by the city, I believe, in 2012, if I'm not correct. Michael Deutsch, Mr. Deutsch can correct me on that. But you can certainly bring these issues up before the city council, and that would be the appropriate venue for you to make those arguments.
City council, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay.
We have one more caller.
Go ahead.
Julia Gonzalez, are you there, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. You may proceed. Chairwoman?
State your name. Yes, state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Julia Gonzalez. I reside at 147 Hamilton Avenue.
Okay. Your question?
I don't have a question. I wanted to stay at the end because I have several comments.
Okay, then save your comments for the end right now. Well, I'm only asking for questions, so just hang on the line, okay?
No worries.
Okay. All right, so any other questions from, any other callers? No other callers. Okay, then I'm gonna open it up to, the commissioners. Any questions of either Matt Evans, or, Mr. Reed?
Chairman, this is Commissioner Dean.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, Mr. Evans, architect. So my question, just for clarification, that as of now is a 3-story building and 9 units. And if you can kindly just one more time tell me how the layout of the units are.
Okay. So, posting again, I'll show you the, oh, that's the wrong job. Hold on, that's the next application. Second. Okay, so this is the layout on the site plan we discussed, and we reduced that. Going to the floor plan, going to the second and third floor plan are identical. We have 4 units, 4 one-bedrooms per floor. They all meet the minimum requirement. They exceed the minimum requirement for square footage. We have large one-bedroom units. So we have unit 201, 616 square feet. That has laundry, mechanical, all independent mechanical, air conditioning, and laundry units. We have unit 203, 623 square feet. And then we have, that has a large bedroom, open living, dining, kitchen area. And you can see it has a walk-in closet for the bedroom. Then one bedroom unit number 204, 304, 642 square feet. And then we have unit 202 is 660 square feet. So that's another larger unit. And we have a central corridor that connects all the units on the second and third floor. So they're identical. We go to the first floor, we have the studio apartment, which is almost comparable to a one-bedroom apartment. It's 500 square feet. Usually they're probably around 300 square feet, but this meets the requirements for the minimum square footage, and it exceeds that. We have 500 square feet, and it's a nice large handicapped accessible unit based off the main rear of the lobby. So that would be the layouts, and we kind of discussed the parking, which meets the municipal ordinance for parking and circulation. And going to the elevations is, basically we have a nice cornice on top, different mix of materials, stucco, brick, and different architectural fenestration. So that's basically the application amended.
So, Mr. Evans, here's my understanding is that now we have variances changed, I believe, that we have enough space in the backyard, and I believe as you have mentioned that on the front here you have some space as well. So, what would be the change will come?
Excuse me, I don't know if this is an objector, but if you do, you can mute yourself. Okay, and then I'll call you back in. I hear a child crying. Thank you, you may proceed.
Hello?
Commissioner Dean, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. For some reason,
All right.
my screen turned black.
Okay, that's okay, so please continue with Mr. Evans, right? You had questions?
Yeah, the question was that what's in terms of variances, what are the changes that are coming after all the update with the plans?
Okay, I posted the zoning data chart. Basically, we have the lot area is still the same. The front yard setback, we previously were seeking relief for that. Now we meet the requirement for 3-foot setback. We don't need a variance for that. The one side setback, it's 5 feet on each side. We have 5 feet, we need 5.1 on one side, but the one side is 3.08, so it's about a little bit less than 2 feet we're looking for relief on that one, side setback. That was always the case. Then we have the rear setback. We have, where the minimum is 20 feet to the building, we now have 29 feet. So we're in excess of 9 feet to the back of the building. So we have a large open area in the rear of the building. So we don't need a variance. I crossed out yes on that one. And then the building height feet would stay the same. We're still well below the 45-foot maximum requirement, which is 31 feet. The building height in stories 3, where 3.5 is maximum. And we have the building coverage, which 60% maximum. We had 80 prior. Now we're at 56, so we're 4% below the maximum requirement. So we don't need a variance for that. The impervious coverage is pretty much the same based on providing parking and pedestrian access. And so we don't need a variance for that. We need that. And then the lot width is existing. Then the open space amenity area is 1350, and we bumped that up to 800 square feet. So we need a little bit on that, but it's definitely reduced from the previous submission. And then the parking, we had previously we needed 11 parking spaces. Now we need 9, and we provide 6. So we need a variance for 3 parking spaces. So we've considerably reduced all those variances, and I believe that this is really an acceptable plan for what we're proposing.
Thank you for the update, and I believe it is much better than the previous plans.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is that it, Commissioner Udine? Anything else?
No, Madam Chair, not for now. Thank you.
Okay. All right, any other commissioners? Any other questions? Of either Mr. Evans or Mr. Reed? Okay, hearing none, then I'm gonna ask Mr. Maricondo to call his next witness, whoever that may be.
Okay, that'll be Chuck Olivo's gonna testify.
Yes, good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioner.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Can you please raise your right hand? You swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Say your full name for the record, please.
My name is Charles Olivo. Last name is O-L-I, V as in Victor O, from Stonefield Engineering and Design.
Can you please state your credentials for the record?
Absolutely, Madam Chair. I'm with Stonefield Engineering and Design, located at 92 Park Avenue, Rutherford, New Jersey. I have a Bachelor of Science in the field of Civil Engineering from the University of Notre Dame. I'm a licensed professional engineer. I'm a certified professional traffic operations engineer. I'm also a licensed planner in the state of New Jersey, license number 6346.
Okay. All right, we recognize him as an expert witness. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Olivo, obviously you've had an opportunity to review the original site plans, all the amendments that took place as well?
I have, yes.
Okay, and in connection with that, you also heard Mr. Deutsch's report and Mr. Evans' testimony as to the modifications, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so you can proceed with your planning testimony at this time.
Excellent. And I think Mr. Deutsch's report gives a very comprehensive overview of the project, and I'll just reiterate that there have been significant improvements and changes made to the plan throughout this process. Commissioner Udine, as well as Mr. Evans, just stole a little bit of that planning thunder, but I'll go through it again. We have reduced this project in size and magnitude by greater than 50%. We started with a 20-unit project, certainly in keeping with the Fourth Ward redevelopment plan, and now we're here before you with a 9-unit project that is largely compliant with the Fourth Ward redevelopment plan and the bulk criteria within this particular zone. Mr. Evans just went through this for the benefit of Commissioner Udine's questions with regard to the variances that have been eliminated as part of what's being proposed. We are well under the building height that is allowable within the zone. We meet coverage, we meet lot area, we meet the front yard setback, we meet the rear yard setback, the side yard on one side. We are seeking a variance, slight variance on the one side, and we're looking for relaxation in terms of the parking where 9 parking stalls are required, 6 are being provided, with enough room to adequately maneuver a vehicle into and out of the parking spaces, as Mr. Evans described. So again, you have a largely compliant plan in keeping with the goals of this redevelopment plan, which Mr. Deutsch had explained as part of his introduction to the amended project, which you're hearing this evening. So from a planning perspective, when we take a look at this site, where it's located, as well as the prevailing redevelopment trends within the area, we see that a largely compliant plan of this nature is certainly very much in keeping with the redevelopment plan and with the zoning that is here located at the site on Hamilton. When we look at the variances that are being requested for the board to consider this evening, we're focused on the side yard variance on the one side and the parking where 9 stalls are required, 6 are being provided. And lastly, the minimum open space requirement, which we've been able to come to attempt to be more in compliance of, but are seeking a slight relaxation there as well. I would group these all within the C2 criteria, which is the flexible C standard for granting variances of these types. And what we look to from the planning proof perspective is, do the benefits outweigh the burdens? Are the improvements and the benefits that are being proposed as part of this redevelopment plan in keeping with zoning, in keeping with the purposes of municipal land use law? And I would say that absolutely they are. If we look at purposes A, E, I, and H, we can see that those purposes are furthered by the granting of the variances to allow for the redevelopment of this site. Purpose A speaks to promoting the public good, the health and well-being of those in the community, and particularly those that would be living within this building, which I think is a very important consideration. Purpose E speaks to building appropriate residential density and densities in general in areas that are slated for redevelopment or appropriate areas for residential development, such as this. Purpose I is to promote a desirable visual environment. You've seen the elevations and these images of what is going to be proposed here, should the board be inclined to approve it, which is a very attractive building and a building that is in keeping with modern architectural design principles. Purpose H speaks to the free flow of traffic. This is a low generating traffic use. We have enough and adequate parking on the site. As it relates to the parking being provided on the site within the census district, within the city of Paterson, over 50% of residents do not own vehicles. This is a trend that we see throughout urban areas as this, trends that I see across the state of New Jersey for one-bedroom apartments or studio apartments. It's very often the case when you're in close proximity to public transit that you do not need to own or lease a vehicle. And for that reason, that is why you provide lesser parking in areas such as this to allow for walkability, to allow for sustainability within areas that are within close walking distance of recreational areas, commercial areas, retail areas, which is exactly what you have here. You're within walking distance of the train station. You're within walking distance of 6 or 7 bus lines that are located at the intersection of Broadway and Strait. You have parks and recreation areas that are located in and around the adjacent vicinity of where we're located here on Hamilton. And so for all those reasons, we are furthering the purposes of municipal land use law and the purposes of zoning. As it relates to the negative criteria, what we have to be able to do is prove that there would be no substantial detriment to the public good, and also that there would be no substantial impairment to the zone plan. As it relates to the zone plan, you've heard from Mr. Evans and myself that this plan is largely in compliance with the redevelopment plan here for the 4th Ward. There are minimal technical variances that are being requested before the board this evening, and the positive criteria of land use is being promoted in the granting of this redevelopment project's approval. There would be no detriment, no substantial detriment to the public good should the board be inclined to approve the project, because we are building in keeping with the redevelopment goal and vision of this redevelopment plan to provide medium density, to provide more housing, to provide different and varied housing and building stock, and also to blend in with the surrounding area that we have here. We have taller buildings than what is being proposed, taller structures that are what is being proposed, and certainly the architectural treatment is in keeping with the neighborhood and the area in which we are located within. As it relates to the zone plan and the master plan, as we've spoken about, the Fourth Ward redevelopment plan is looking for more intense residential construction to allow for more places for people to live and more places for people to then not only live, but go to areas like Market Street and Broadway and be able to support economic development throughout this area. We need residential to feed retail and commercial. And there are a number of elements of your master plan as well as this redevelopment plan that are furthered. And for those reasons, I believe the board can approve the project and grant the variances associated. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, this time I'm going to open it up to the public. Thank you for your testimony. I'm just going to ask if anyone in the public has any questions of Mr. Olivia. Is it Olivo?
Olivo,
Olivo.
Yep.
Olivo, okay. The planner, okay, please call in, and this is for questions only, please call in at 973-321-1579. The meeting ID is 711-680-001. I will allow 2 minutes for call-ins, 3 minutes only for questions, thank you.
We will begin with Reverend Algiero. Do you have any questions of this
The planner.
expert? I'm sorry, this expert?
This is Reverend Algiero.
Sir, do you have any questions of this expert?
Yes, I do.
You may proceed.
Okay. Mr. Olivo, I've been reading the C2 variance, and as I read item E, to promote the establishment of appropriate population density and concentration, this is much still a higher density or concentration than the intent of the RA2, page 35 of the Fourth Ward plan. How do you answer that?
Well, when I look at the RA2 and the intent, it speaks to permit, as I read it, a more intensive residential use of land within various types of dwellings. And as it relates to density, we're here before the planning board because this is a contemplated density within this area of the Fourth Ward. And so that's how I'm able to reconcile that. I also feel from a planning perspective, having provided planning assessments for various projects throughout Paterson over the last 3 to 4 years, and largely throughout the state of New Jersey, that this type of development project of this density is exactly in keeping with redevelopment goals such as the one promoted within the RA2 and within the Fourth Ward redevelopment plan.
Well, how do you answer then that on page 35 under RA2, it does not say multifamily at all. It says 1 family, 2 family, 3 or 4 family. Mr. Carter raised that question earlier, and it lists those as principal permitted uses.
And this item tends to be well discussed before the City of Paterson board, and I rely on the board's expert, Mr. Deutsch, as well as others on the board to essentially confirm, Reverend, what it is that we believe in keeping with the spirit of the Fourth Ward redevelopment plan. There are exhibits within the plan that speak to multifamily, and we have gotten this far in the process, and I believe the interpretation is valid that a 9-unit building can be constructed in accordance with the density requirements within this zone.
Okay, then my final question is also in that C2 variance, item G speaks about sufficient space and open space. And this building, as every other building, has asked for a variance on open space.
Well, we're seeking a variance variance for open space. And I understand that as part of there are other purposes of municipal land use law. You don't need to hit every single one of those, Reverend, but I understand the comment as it relates to open space being provided. And we've increased the open space as part of the revised project that's before you this evening. And something that I would say about open space in communities like this is we, yes, do think of open space as areas on the site and the subject property as open space, but I like to think of communities like Paterson that if you're living in a one-bedroom apartment, your living room, your open space, your recreational area is in the city. It's the sidewalks, it's the parks, it's the commercial and downtown areas. And as it relates to planning goals, when we look at livability and sustainability, walkability, all of these types of design elements, we're not just looking at the lot itself, but we're looking at the area that a site is located in. And that's how I can reconcile, and that's how I can promote and suggest that the board grant the variance for the minimum open space requirement.
Okay, thank you. We see things differently, but I thank you for your answer.
Thank you for your questions.
Madam Secretary, are there any other questions?
The next one is Mr. Carter. Do you have any questions of this expert?
No, I don't. But I like Reverend Algera said, I hear his thing, but I don't agree with how he views the livability and the criteria for walkability and such. I mean, it's nice, it comes out fluffy, but I don't get the gist of it because I have to exist in it. Whereas I saw him taking pictures a couple of weeks ago, but he's just taking pictures and giving a profile. But when you live something and experience it, it's a different feeling. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, are any other questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to open it up to the commissioners. Commissioners, do you have any questions of the planner? Olivo? Olivo?
Yeah, Olivo, yeah.
Olivo, sorry, crucifying this. Does anyone have any questions of Mr. Olivo? All right, I hear no questions. So at this time, I'm going to open it back up to the public for comments. I guess the people who are already called in are already on the phone, so I'm just gonna ask them. They may have 3 minutes to make their point, to make their comments, and we'll all listen to their comments, and then I'm gonna ask Mr. Maricon to summarize. So if there's anyone on the phone right now, or anyone would like to call in, you may call in at 973-321-1579. Remaining ID 711-680-001. I'll allow 3 minutes for comments. Do I have anyone that's on the line right now, Madam Secretary, that would like to make comments? I believe we had Miss.
Yes, but let's begin with Mr. Reverend Algera. Would you like to make a comment?
I would like to make a comment. And
You have 2 minutes, sir, to proceed.
Three.
Okay.
3 minutes.
I
3 minutes.
So commissioners, as I reread and encourage you to reread the fourth ward plan, it talks about development, reducing blighted, abandoned, vacant properties. This is not an abandoned and vacant property. This was a healthy, functioning two-family house that pays $9,000 taxes a year to Paterson that's going to be torn down. And this developer has already torn down 2 houses on Harrison Street for the putting up the building that was intended for here. So now we're not just building new buildings on vacant lots. We're tearing down perfectly good homes to do that. I would also just argue again that the RA2, I guess it's a matter of interpretation, but for RA2 says nothing about multifamily, but rather 1, 2, 3, or 4. rear yard is great. I'm happy to see that, but the open space is still 550 square feet short. And the people need open space, Mr. Olivo. You know that. And the park on Broadway is locked. The other Montgomery Park is dangerous. So, you know, our local parks are not great. Mr. Carter tried yesterday and today to gain access to see these plans so he could intelligently ask questions. Personally went to the planning board, called, and he can and was denied access. And he's a neighbor and lives right there. In my opinion, the benefits do not outweigh the detriment. And I would encourage you to deny these few variances, stop this building, let someone buy this two-family house and live there as a healthy neighbor without creating greater population density. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, who's the other person?
Mr. Carter, do you have any questions? Comments, please.
Yes, as
3
a
minutes.
commentary.
Yes, please go ahead.
Like I don't know if I mentioned, my wife and I have been here 14 years, and we were the first we bought the home that we're living in at 122 Hampton Ave, and we were the first home purchased in that other program. And it's gone from houses to housing, because we were told it was going to be two-family houses, and we were going to change the neighborhood. And I believed in that. And as over the years, I've seen the neighborhood fluctuate up and down. And then when this building took place a couple of years ago, 146, which is also, I believe, owned by the same agency, this past year, the activity in crime or drugs went rampant. And there were two major drug busts. There was a manhunt. There was someone caught by the fugitive squad. And my wife was adding to the garbage that morning, and the fugitive squad waved her back in the house with guns ablazing, because the people who were in the building definitely were not vetted. So it's kind of frightening not to know who these people are that may be coming into your neighborhood. You have no idea. So it's a change. There's not a sense of community. It's just a matter of housing. And hopefully, what you're trying, hopefully it works, but I really oppose the situation because, like I said, profiling and projecting is one thing, but experiencing is a totally another experience. So all I have to say is that I don't see another building adding strength to this community, not an apartment building. A two-family home, that I think actually probably adds to the appeal of the community, just like they mentioned, different resident situations. So I would just say to the board, please consider that, because they add crime by not vetting the tenants or whomever they may be. They added situations of parking is really, sometimes you hear fights and arguments. It took them 3 weeks just to get started on the other project, which is 154 and 156. They had to tow the tenants from these buildings. So it was like a circuit. And now they're towing, and they have signs up there, no parking towing, and they're still in process now. And now you're going to do this again. But I don't see the benefit. It's more of a burden. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Secretary, is there anyone else?
Lastly, is Miss Julia Gonzalez, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please state your name and address for the record.
Julia Gonzalez, 147 Hamilton Avenue, Paterson.
Thank you. You have 3 minutes. Please go ahead.
Absolutely. I don't consider this as the area being revitalized when you have theaters living in these buildings. We got rid of the Alabama projects because of this, because it became a nuisance to the city of Paterson. Now we're building it throughout the whole city. I have to come home on a tired day to look at a drug sale right across the street from me on a daily basis. I can't let my granddaughter sit in the front porch. We are not to sit in the front porch, as a matter of fact, no one is, because of this, because of the crime. I live right across the street from one of these buildings, which is 146. All I ask for is security. People want to be there 24/7. I'm pretty sure we can afford it. But these buildings, you gotta screen your people. I'm tired of them blocking my driveway. Just this weekend, we had someone retaliate because of the same reason. They blocking my driveway. They go in the building, they sleep overnight. They come out whenever they feel like it. Now, the car is being towed because it's blocking my driveway. That's the problem. It's one too many times. I'm picking back after what the gentleman spoke about, what happened when there was guns drawn. That was right across the street from me. I'm leaving work at 6:30 in the morning and I get pushed back in my home. Why? Because they're looking for someone. They're looking for, so my whole street is blocked off. This is scary. I don't want to live like this anymore. If you're going to do something, do it right. Put a house. Build 2 houses. If it's enough land to build 2 houses, don't put up another building. Like I said, we got rid of the Alabama projects. We're trying to get rid of these projects, but we're building them throughout the whole city of Paterson, and no one hears our cries. We are the ones that have to deal with this on a daily basis. Everyone goes home to their nice little areas or their nice little homes, but no one hears our cries. We have to deal with this. I have to deal with this. My granddaughter has to live through this. And who's to say at the end of the day, okay, whatever, who is she to say? Well, I'm a taxpayer. I own a home, and I'm tired. I've gone in this meeting too many times. I got tired because I said, wow, the planning board, I don't even think they listen to my cries. But when I have to come home today and see another drug cell coming out of this building, right in front of me, broad daylight, I'm like, no, enough is enough. It's tiring. It's tiring. And I hope you guys take this in consideration. Let him build 2 houses if he wants to do that. Build houses, please. No more buildings. Enough is enough. The parking is too congested. It's just beyond work. The late night fights, the arguing, the parties, the loud music coming out in and out that building 24/7, 24/7. If I sleep 4 hours or 3 hours, it's too much, and I work 2 jobs. This is all I have to say, and I hope you guys take that in consideration. This is
Right, thank you.
of this project.
Thank you. I have a question for Mr. Reed. Mr. Reed, where's your security, can I ask? When this is all happening?
Actually, me and Mr. Carter was outside talking earlier today, and I showed him the armed security on patrol was out there in front of the building, monitoring the building. I mean, I'm pretty sure he would attest to that fact today also. We have local security, and as I told him, we were conversating earlier, we're gonna make sure we even add extra security to this area, give it extra attention. I understand people say, like, marshals came after someone who was a wanted fugitive. You could have a wanted fugitive in Franklin Lakes or in a nice suburb.
Well, that's very true. I mean, you can't be responsible for who goes into certain streets in Paterson.
You have 2
I get that.
You have 2 families in 4th Ward where there's drug problems there in those 2 families. So just being there as a 2 family don't mean that it's not going to be any issues there. But again, we'll be willing to double down on security in that area for those projects and the projects right around the corner, of the top projects in the immediate area. Obviously our owner is not scared to spend money on security. Nobody asked him to do this. He took this initiative on his own when the police department was short manpower. He went into his own profits to build up security for the area. And then not only that, like I said, our maintenance department, every day, if you look out there, we clean up the areas of our houses and the adjacent properties. There's a lot of garbage in the trash that's being thrown out there. So,
Okay.
we do.
I understand. I understand that you can't be responsible for the entire block or the entire area. I was just curious to make sure that the security steps up should this application be approved. All right, so I'm gonna ask Mr. Mariconda. Is Mr. Mariconda there?
Yeah, 1 second.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Yes, Commissioner Figueroa, go ahead.
I'm gonna piggyback on your thing, because I was gonna bring that up with the security measure. Is it 24-hour security? I'm curious. And is there gonna be cameras in this building?
It's cameras in the building and the adjacent building. Our security is 24/7. Holidays, snow days, storms, we 24/7.
All right. And additionally, the screening. I mean, you can't. I live in an apartment building in Paterson, so I actually can relate to some of the concerns. I'm going to be really honest. Some things are out of control. You know, things happen. We're in an urban city. But as far as like, you're gonna have structures in place, like if you get tenants that have violations within their household, whether it's sales of drugs, of controlled substances, or loud music, you have
Commissioner, without a doubt, and you know,
Okay.
Unfortunately, we've been through a pandemic period, the court's been backlogged and jammed up and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure, I think the end of next month, a lot of stuff is supposed to stop, so that there are some tenants that will get evicted. And as far as like the drug situation, our owner and our company has been fully cooperative with law enforcement agencies at different levels to help out these type of issues at that particular building they talk about. So it's not like, you know, we're just sitting here on deaf ears and like don't care about anything.
Yeah, and you're not the only. No, I
Yeah,
get that. I appreciate it.
If we lose a property, how will we pay our mortgage?
Excuse me, one at a time, sir. Let the commissioner finish, and you can answer. You're cutting into her questioning. One moment.
It's okay.
Yes, but the court reporter can't type. Catch both of you.
Okay, I'm sorry if I did that. It's just pretty much that, you know, there's some concerns there, and I do appreciate that, because that's important that we, you know, we listen.
Trust me, their concerns is my concerns also.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like I'm interested in getting development done in the Fourth Ward just to make some money. I'm from the Fourth Ward. I'm part of the Fourth Ward. You know, the Fourth Ward runs through my blood, so I have a personal interest in the Fourth Ward as well, and I want it done right too.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your
I believe also, I just recently read something about Mr. Florio taking an active and proactive approach with the drug issues. I read it in the paper. But in any event, I just want to make sure, should this application be approved this evening, that you have really heavy duty, security in that area for sure. So that being said, I'm going to ask for Mr. Maricondo to please sum up.
Madam Chair.
Yeah, Commissioner Udine.
Sorry, yes. I heard all the objectors' word very seriously, and I respect every single word and the reason they're here for. Many things I understand that are not in applicant's control, but here's my question to Mr. Reed, Mr. Evans. This is just a question. You can answer whatever you want. If we remove the studio from the first floor, do you think we can, I'm just asking, Mr. Reed, so do you think we can have 9 parking spaces somehow for 9 units?
No, Commissioner, the only reason I'm shaking my head no, because we need that unit on the ground floor for ADA compliance. That's a federal law.
Yes, and again, about security, all of the commissioners and Madam Chair had mentioned as well. And, I'm saying I heard objectors, concerned, and what to say. I just request you one more time to make sure that you guys focus on this screening process should be more, legitimate, and, so that's all I can say, Mr. Reed, and everyone to the applicant.
Yeah, Commissioner, without a doubt, their concerns are valid, and their concerns are our concerns, and that is our interest. And so I assure you, and I assure this board, whether we get approved or not, we're gonna still beef up security. We still beef up security in that area, especially in the evening hours, without a doubt. And overnight.
Oh,
thank you, Mr. Reed, and thank you to all the objectors who are here, and we do respect your voice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Maricondo?
Yes, Madam Chair. First of all, I would like to sort of confirm what Mr. Reed just indicated. We very much appreciate the public input into this project. And we have listened, and we have worked, and we have continued the dialogue on the ground, not in any sort of long distance way. We've been there, our applicant, and we believe we've come to a project which more than suits the size of the lot, the particular character of this section of the redevelopment zone which permits this use, We brought down the variances substantially. We're providing an opportunity here for serving a particular demographic of one-bedroom studio units. This is a need. There is parking on site, substantial parking now, very close to the requirement. And this applicant's track record in terms of providing quality construction and compliance with the redevelopment zone's aesthetic requirements is continuing on a regular basis. We feel very, very strongly that as modified and reduced with the work of this board and with the work of the neighbors, that this is a project that is worthy of approval. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That being said, would any commissioner like to make a motion on this application?
Madam Chair, I'll go for.
Yes, go ahead.
On the application of Paterson.
Wait, I'm sorry. Let me just ask, Mr. Acquaviva. So, Mr. Acquaviva, the testimony tonight has been that this has been reduced down to 9 units, so we don't have to put that as a condition. We don't have to put down that the variance is now for 3. That's all been on record, correct?
That is correct. It's part of the testimony, Madam Chair.
Okay, so that's okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'm sorry. I also want to just point one thing out, because when Commissioner Dean was attempting to make his motion, I kept hearing background noise. I'm looking at the layout right now, and it looks like there were 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm working on it, sir. As we speak, I'm working on it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Commissioner Dean, please proceed.
Mr. Acquaviva, I have a quick question about the screening process. Do we have to, multiple times we have mentioned that in our meetings that they do have screening process when they, have tenants in their buildings. Do we have to have, and I believe that it's in our record that they do that. Somehow do we?
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead. I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So my point is, do you think we should, one more time, just to put extra money, do you think we should put condition just to have extra attention that on the application that they're going to have screening process and security cameras running for 24/7?
Well, it's not a condition, but certainly the testimony is that they do have a screening process, a vetting process, and it will be part of the resolution. It really is not a condition. That was really just testimony as to what they do and how they vet and screen their potential tenants. But it is part of the record, and it will be part of the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Kruger.
You're welcome.
Okay, please proceed, Commissioner.
Yes, Madam Chair. On the application of Paterson Qualified Opportunity Zone LLC, 449 East 18th Street, Paterson, New Jersey, 07524, property address 158-160 Hamilton Street, block 3612, lot 5. I move that the board attorney prepare a resolution granting the give me 1 second. Site plan approval, block variances, subject to city engineer approval and HEP Soil Conservation District approval.
Okay, do I have a second? Anyone, a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Councilman Khalif, was that you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioners, Commissioner Fisher?
No.
Commissioner Brooks?
Before I vote, I just want to say that in the past, as you all know, I am opposed to this overdevelopment. And tonight, we had objectors who live next door to the project, two-family houses that are now going to be next to a 9-family house. I think this is overdevelopment. I think that it shouldn't continue to be done, even though this board continues to pass it, and my vote is no.
Thank you, Commissioner Santana.
Abstained.
Commissioner Udine.
I'm sorry.
Commissioner Udine?
Yes, Madam Secretary, just to hearing from the objectors and the people living around the project, I'm abstained for, I'm trying to say abstain from the, vote. Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to check with the attorney, you approve, you
No.
said yes?
Made the motion.
You made the motion.
I'm sorry, I can abstain?
You cannot
If you
abstain.
voted for the granting, you can't oppose, you can't abstain.
Correct,
No.
correct.
Alright, so my apologies, and is there any way someone else can, go for a motion?
Or you
Mr. Acquaviva?
Are you withdrawing your motion to approve?
Yes, yes, Mr. Acquaviva,
Okay, so Madam Chair, Commissioner Dean is withdrawing his motion to approve. Please call for another motion if another commissioner intends to.
Is there anyone else that would make the motion?
A motion to approve or a motion to deny?
To deny, either one.
I make a motion to deny.
Make your motion.
I just made it. I made the motion. It doesn't have to be read, does it?
Commissioner Brooks has made a motion to deny.
Yes.
Please call for a second. Madam Chair, just call for a second, I'm sorry.
That's all. Yeah.
Fine. Is there a second? Is there a second? To deny?
Yes.
Who's denying? I didn't hear that.
Fisher, Commissioner Fisher.
Commissioner Fisher. Okay.
Here, Fisher, if you want to.
Okay, roll call, please.
Madam Chair, hold on, Madam Chair, just let's be clear. This is calling for a roll call on a yes or a no on denial. So just to be clear, Commissioners, if you're voting to deny this application, your vote would be yes. If you're voting, if it's not, then it would be a no. So if you intend to vote yes, it's a vote yes on denial.
Thank you, Mr. Acquaviva. Commissioners, Commissioner Fisher, yes or no on denial?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Brooks, yes or no on denial?
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Santana, yes or no on denial?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Udine, yes or no on denial?
yes.
Commissioner Figueroa, yes or no on denial?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik, yes or no on denial?
No.
No on denial. Chairwoman Northrop, yes or no on denial?
No.
So you have 5 yes on denial and 2 no on denial.
The application is denied.
Denied.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next application. Let me get my paperwork.
Before they move on to the next application, I have to recluse myself from this next meeting.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Duly noted, thank you.
One moment, please. Okay. The second application this evening. For some reason I don't, here it is. Okay. Is EC Property Holdings LLC, 43 Cedar Street, Block 61111, Lot 16. Mr. Mariconda, are you representing this application?
Yes, we are ready to proceed. Alan Maricondo on behalf of the applicant.
Okay, on a vacant lot, the applicant proposes to construct a new 3-story residential 2-unit building. The first floor proposes a 1-car enclosed garage and a 1-bedroom unit. The second and third floors compose a 3-bedroom unit with the dining room, living room, and kitchen on the second floor, and 3 bedrooms on the third floor. The parcel has a lot area of 1,370 square feet. This proposal is within the RA-2 zone of the Fifth Ward redevelopment plan. Variances are requested for the following. Lot area as 2,500 square feet is required and 1,370 square feet is existing. Front yard setback as a minimum of 3 feet is required and 0 feet is proposed. Rear yard setback is a minimum of 20 feet is required and 14 feet is proposed. Lot building coverage as a maximum lot building coverage of 60% is permitted and 62% is proposed. And open space as 300 square feet of open space is required and 250 square feet of open space is proposed. And it requires site plan approval and bulk variances. Mr. Joyce, would you like to give us your review?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Okay, thank you.
Property taxes and sewer charges are current. Jose Cordova, providing a mailing address of 914 Madison Avenue, Paterson, New Jersey, is the sole stockholder of EC Property Holdings LLC. Mark Safone, surveyor, has provided a property survey dated June 24th, 2020. Parcel is frontage of 25 feet on Cedar Street, a western side lot line that measures 59 feet, a rear lot line that measures 15 feet in an easterly direction, then 10.5 feet in a southerly direction, then 10 feet in an easterly direction, and a eastern side lot line that measures 48.5 feet to the intersection with Cedar Street. The property has area of 1,370 square feet for 0.04 acres. This proposal is located on the northern side of Cedar Street, 25 feet west of the intersection of Cedar Street and Madison Street. Survey indicates that the parcel is vacant of structures and that masonry and block walls, a gravel driveway, and a chain link fence remain on the lot. The survey also indicates that a 2.5-story dwelling is on the western property line and a 2.5-story dwelling is less than 1 foot from the eastern side property line. Evans Architect has prepared a 2-page drawing submission revised on March 9, 2021. Sheet number S1 indicates the concrete vertical curb and roadway pavement widening, the water connection, the seepage pit section, the sanitary sewer connection, the concrete sidewalk detail, the site location map, the existing condition site plan, and the zoning ordinance data. Site plan indicates that the dwelling is to be placed on the front property line, 3 feet from both the eastern and western side property lines, and 3 feet and 14 feet from both the rear property lines. This parcel is located in the RA-2 residential district of the Fifth Ward redevelopment plan area. Although the proposed residential use is permitted, new variances are requested for lot area. 2,500 square feet is required and 1,370 square feet is proposed. Front yard setback as a minimum of 3 feet is required and 0 feet is proposed. Rear yard setback as a minimum of 20 feet is required and both 3 feet and 14 feet is proposed. Lot building coverage of 60% is permitted and 62% is proposed. And open space as 300 square feet of open space is required and 250 square feet of open space is proposed. Additionally, the applicant requests a variance for proposing a 589 square foot one-bedroom unit, whereas the minimum lot size for a one-bedroom unit is 600 square feet. Sheet number SK1 indicates the floor plans and the building elevations. In addition to the one-car garage door, there are 2 access doors at the front. One leads to the 3-bedroom second and third floor unit, and the other door leads to the first floor 771 square foot one-bedroom unit that includes a full bathroom, a kitchen area, and a living room area. The second floor plan indicates a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, and a full bathroom. The third floor plan indicates a full bathroom, a mechanical closet, and a laundry closet, and 3 bedrooms. The combined second and third floor has gross square footage of 1,640 square feet. The front elevation indicates the first floor garage and both unit access doors surrounded by a vinyl facade. The second and third floors indicate windows on each floor surrounded by vinyl siding, and the dwelling has an A-frame roof. The building has a top height of 33 feet. The rear elevation indicates that each floor has a double window surrounded by vinyl siding. Both the west side and east side elevations include windows on all 3 floors surrounded by vinyl siding. As this construction is proposed within the 5th Ward redevelopment plan area, attention should be paid to the facade of the structure to ensure that it incorporates architectural differences from surrounding existing dwelling units. Examples of differing architectural details may include motifs, cornices, and window frame details, as well as front door and garage door styles. The applicant proposes a 12-foot access driveway curb cut. Drainage calculations are required. Any approvals given to this proposal shall be subject to the approval of the city engineer and the Department of Public Works, including permits for curbs, sidewalks, and road opening and connection permits. Surrounding land use. So this is a predominantly residential area in the Sandy Hill section of the city. Dwellings exist on lots ranging in sizes of 2,500 square feet, 3,700 square feet, and 5,000 square feet. The applicant estimates the cost to construct this proposal at approximately $200,000. That is your staff review for this proposal, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. Mr. Mariconda?
Yes, good evening again, Madam Chair and the Commissioners. We are presenting again this evening an application for a new two-family dwelling as per Mr. Deutsch's report. We are located, of course, in the RA2 section of the 5th Ward redevelopment zone. So this is a proposed use that is more than compliant with the RA2 section. We do acknowledge this is a small lot, of course. However, Mr. Evans' testimony will address the issue of the prior existence of housing on this site. So essentially, one of the primary elements of our project here is to fill in this infill lot and restore it to usable residential quality. With that being said, we'll call Mr. Evans at this time.
Thank you. How many witnesses do you have this evening?
Just Mr. Evans and Mr. Cordova.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Reverend, please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Mr.
I can't hear you.
Okay, just Mr. Evans, for the record, your professional license container, Madam Chair, can we stipulate?
Yeah, Matthew Evans, architect planner, 470 Chamberlain Ave, Paterson, New Jersey.
You're muted.
Muted.
Here you go.
I'm saying, we accept him as an expert witness, but you've got to speak up because you were kind of so far away that you were whispering. Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, gotta make a project here. Mr. Evans, you prepared the site plan in connection with this application, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Could you give us an overview of the site and somewhat of its history before you proceed with the proposal?
Okay, basically this is a standalone lot the applicant purchased, and I can post, let me share a Google Streets view of the site. Here's a picture of the property. Can you see that?
I believe it's clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is a picture of the site. This is 2007 Google Streets. Then we look at the next update on that, and you can see it was there was a fire at the site, and then the damage to the adjacent property. Then as we move up into town, and as the years, we can see that then the adjacent building was repaired, and it looks like it's a 3 or 4 family adjacent to us. And then we have the present day picture of the site here. So as you can see, very consistent with the size of the buildings in the 5th Ward here, as the buildings are similar in scale and scope of these multifamily 2 and up residential structures. I'll post the plans also. We can go to the property. So as we mentioned before, looking at the property, it's a vacant lot now, and that's the existing conditions. You can see the property next door, the two and a half story frame dwelling next door, multifamily, is right on the property line. Then the property to the right is basically along the property line also. What we're proposing is keeping those setbacks so we have adequate light and air and meet those side setback conditions where we have 3 feet, a little over 3 feet on each side. We have 0, the buildings on the front property line. As you can see, the property next door and all the properties on Cedar Street are pretty much 0 lot line conditions, mostly on the front and also on the sides. A little different, what we're doing is it's a 2-family we're proposing, which is permitted, and we're also providing a curb cut, and we have a 1-car parking space, which providing off-street parking for the development. And you can see on the tax map, we have a regularly shaped lot that had a multifamily structure in the past, and we can go through the variances where 2,500 square feet is permitted. We have 1,370 square feet. That's a pre-existing non-conforming condition. The front setback is 3 feet is required. We have 0. We kept it 0 because it would be in keeping with the streetscape and continue that streetscape throughout the neighborhood. The side setback is 3 feet, 3.1, 3.1, so we don't need a variance for that. The rear setback is 20 feet. We have 14, and then there's like a jog, so it's 3, but for the most part, it's 14 feet in the large section. We would seek variance for that. The building height, we're well below the 35 feet required. We have 32.3. 3 stories is what we're proposing. There's no floor area ratio. So the building coverage, we're looking for 2% over on the building lot coverage. Now, that's not a lot, and considering the size of the property, it's really, we've done a lot to sort of to try and keep it with that 60%. So with a 1,370 square foot lot, we've still been able to maintain within 2% of the building coverage. I think that was, a little challenging, but we were able to do that. The lot width, we have no problem. We meet that. That's an existing condition. The open space, the minimum is 350 square feet. We have 250 square feet, and as I mentioned before, the lot size, I think that we've done a lot to accomplish that 250 square feet. So we're 100 square feet below the requirement. And the 1-bedroom unit, there's a 600 square foot minimum requirement. We're 11 square feet. We're looking for relief on that one. So it's a little below 600, but it's still a nice, it's a nice layout for the unit.
And then soon that would be ADA compliant?
No, it's not.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's a 2-family, so there's no real requirement. But speaking of ADA compliance, it does walk in. You can see on the ground floor plan, it is wheelchair accessible on this first floor, so it does accomplish that.
That's where the plan indicated that to me. Yes, that's excellent.
So, I think what we have is, I think I misspoke. We have 771 square feet on that, so we would not really be seeking. I think we had done a redesign on this, and we've accomplished that. That was part of Mr. Deutsch's comments in the initial submission. So that apartment is 171 square feet over the minimum for a 1-bedroom.
Right.
And as I mentioned, we do have, it has its own mechanicals, and it's a nice little unit. there's a garage that's part of that unit. So that, basically will be the entrance for the one bedroom. Adjacent to the one bedroom, we have the 3-bedroom unit entrance, which is basically the door to the stair, which brings us up to the second floor plan. That second floor plan is 820 square feet. So that 820 is dedicated just for basically the public, as opposed to the private spaces of the unit. The public spaces are the dining room, the kitchen, and the living room. So we have a nice open stairwell that enters the second to the third floor. And as you can see, we have a nice large island, open kitchen layout, and kitchen, living, dining setup. We also have a bathroom, linen closet, and a regular coat closet on that second floor level. Within that unit, we're going directly up and landing on the third floor. The third floor is dedicated to the bedrooms, the sleeping private quarters. So that is, we have one bathroom, we have laundry, stackable laundry, we have hot water mechanical, and these bedrooms are nice size. They're 12.6 by 12.6 is bedroom number 1, 14 feet by 10'8", a little bigger at the entrance. And then we have 14 by 13 with a little bonus space adjacent to the,
I'm sorry, this is Commissioner Figueroa. I see the Zoom, I don't see the architectural plans on my
I don't
screen.
either. I was just about to say that. I was just about to
saw
cut
your
in.
mouse, Matt,
I'm
going
sorry.
all over the place.
Oh, man. All right, hold on. You gotta let me know. So,
I haven't seen one architectural plan other than the vacant lot right here. I was just about to say.
I didn't share properly.
We're gonna backtrack on that.
Okay.
Apologies.
Let me share again. Alright, so I'm gonna give you a real quick overview again. On the ground floor plan, we said it was a handicap accessible, 771 square feet. We have a nice sized bedroom, large, open living, kitchen, dining. That first floor unit has its own, car parking. And then we have the 2 entrances, the 1-bedroom unit that's at ground level. So like we mentioned, it was accessible. And then we have the stairs going up to the upper level. The second floor is 820 square feet. That's a nice open living, dining, kitchen area. That whole floor is dedicated to the public portion of the living space. And then we have another 820 square feet on the upper floor, which contains the 3 bedrooms, laundry, mechanical, and then there's a shared bathroom, large bathroom for the private area. So this is a 2 full bathroom unit, with 1,640 square feet. So it's a nice size 3-bedroom unit. And then we go to the front elevation. We have the 2 doors. We have arch top windows and double hungs with 2 double gables, a nice roof canopy in the front, and then as we mentioned, the garage door entrance for the unit. So the side elevations are a little more simple because, as you saw, the other buildings are on the property line. We have 3 feet, but we tried to make the most out of the rear windows and the front windows. So with the exception of the middle bedroom, we have large windows in the back and the front for the bedrooms. Basically, then the right side elevation is similar to the left side, and then the rear has, as I mentioned, the big windows in the back with the gable design, which we're proposing. So that would be what we're proposing for this 2-family.
Mr. Evans, just a follow-up in terms of the planning perspective. You highlighted at the beginning, of course, the fact that this is an infill lot. Tell us what the redevelopment plan tells us about goals in that regard.
Well, the goals, would be to, develop these vacant lots, and abandoned lots, and provide, housing, which would be incompatible with the RA2 zoning. It's a two-family house, which is basically, one of the main structures that would be approved for this type of lot. It's limited to these 2 units. I think it was the efficient use of space. And we managed to get parking and accomplish a lot of the goals for the redevelopment, and looking at very few variances.
Right, and again, this is a condition which is hopefully going to restore this property to its original usage, but all modern upgrades, of course, and all code compliant, which in this older neighborhood probably is not the case with the older buildings. Is that right?
Right.
Right. So again, I think we meet all of the redevelopment goals of the Fifth Ward plan in that regard. The aesthetic appearance outside the building, did you run through that? I'm not sure if you did.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that's fine. So you're complying with the Fifth Ward requirements in that sense also?
Yes.
Okay. And it's your opinion that this particular site is appropriate for this type of two-family dwelling now?
Yeah, it fits in with the character. As I mentioned, there's 2s. I mean, adjacent, it seemed, you saw how the meters are, look like 4 electric meters to the left of the property, and then there's multi-families.
Right.
There's are some mixed use, but they're not permitted in the zone, and, this is in keeping with the redevelopment zone.
And obviously, the infill lots are an inherent danger to the surrounding neighborhood in terms of loitering and refuse and all those matters.
Right, it brings, ratables to the neighborhood and new housing stock, which is compatible, with the redevelopment zone.
Okay, thank you. That will conclude Mr. Evans' testimony, Madam Chair.
And your other, witnesses,
Mr. Cordova, the owner of the LLC.
please call him now.
Sure. Jose?
I'm here.
Please raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your full name for the record.
Jose Cordova.
Jose, you are the principal of EC Property Holdings LLC, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
As such, you're fully familiar with this project design?
Yes, I am.
And you did acquire this lot, and clearly from Mr. Evans' exhibits, the property had fire damage and was a vacant parcel for quite some time before you took the challenge on of developing it.
Yes, I did.
Okay. And you heard all the testimony of Mr. Evans as well as Mr. Deutsch's report?
Yes, I did.
You're in full agreement with everything that's on the record on your behalf?
Yes, I am.
And these would be rental units, so you have experience in rental units throughout the city?
Yes, I am.
And you have done not only management, but other developments, even before this board, is that right?
Yes, I have.
Okay, that's all I have, Madam Chair, thank you.
Yes, okay. I think at this moment, I'm going to, that would conclude his
Yes.
okay. I'm gonna open this up to the public, okay? Does anyone in the public who has any questions for Mr. Cordova and Mr. Evans? Please call 973-321-1579. And, the meeting ID is 711-680-001. I'm going to allow 2 minutes for call-in and 3 minutes for questions. Thank you.
We have no callers at this time, Madam Chair.
Thank you. So this time I'm gonna open it up to the commissioners. Commissioners, do you have any questions of either Mr. Evans or Mr. Cordova? Commissioners? Okay, commissioners, no questions, so I'm gonna ask, Mr. Maricon to sum it up.
Okay, thank you very much. Madam Chair, I think this application, and Commissioners, thank you for hearing us. I think it speaks for itself in many respects in terms of the opportunity it gives the applicant to meet the goals and intentions and spirit of the redevelopment plan in terms of getting rid of these infill lots, in terms of vacancy, providing new quality housing, complying with the aesthetic requirements. Really, I think Mr. Evans' plan is creative in the sense that it provides for two different types of demographics in terms of a one-bedroom ground level, easily accessible. We provide a parking space, which I think is excellent in this case, and we provide a quality three-bedroom unit for a small family upstairs. So I believe in all respects, this is a win-win for the neighborhood and the redevelopment plan goals. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, would any commissioner like to make a motion on this application?
I'll move. Chairman.
Is that Commissioner Jean? Yes, please go ahead.
Alright, so on the application of DC Properties Holdings LLC 914 Madison Avenue, Paterson, New Jersey 07501. Property address 43 Cedar Street, Block 6111, Lot 16. I move that the Board attorney prepare a resolution granting the site plan approval, bulk variances approval, and subject to city engineer and HEP soil conservation district approval.
Okay, may I have a second from someone, please?
Second by Commissioner.
Second by Commissioner Figueroa?
Yes.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioners, Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Udine,
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Councilman Kalik,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Fisher,
Yes.
and Chairwoman Northrop.
Yes.
6 in the affirmative, this application has been granted.
Thank you. Now, that means, thank you. That question, now I just have, do we have any further business?
No, Madam Chair, but Mr. Deutsch may.
Mr. Deutsch?
Our next meeting is Monday, May the 10th. It's a special meeting with 2 applications. You will receive them no later than Friday afternoon.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. We have no resolutions this evening or anything else.
That is correct.
Okay, then I wish everyone a good evening. See everyone on Monday. Okay, have a good night. No one's left today.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay.